welcome back. I'm Craig Sigel, author of the book Break 80, 52 Ways to Lower Your Golf Score Without Practice. Now, this is video number 2 in my training series, Shortcut Secrets to Consistent Golf. That's right. Here's what I want to teach you in these training videos. That there's something that you've been missing in your game. There's something really powerful that you haven't tapped into yet. But you know it's there. You've felt it, you've experienced it for short periods, maybe even all around. You see, you really do have the ability for ridiculous consistency. Like an iron Byron. Everyone does. That is, if you have a heart and it's beating. oh yeah, that was in video 1. And there's a link below to go back and watch it if you missed it. In that last video, I introduced you to the idea of creating a separate self that is consistent and can repeat what it has already successfully done because it's done it before. Now, even if you're a beginner, you'll be able to use this technique to build your game one skill at a time so much faster, whether you put in the practice time or not. And we're going to start speeding up the process now and how to connect with and direct that perfect golfer inside you. And this starts with eliminating hindering beliefs or programs we have about improving our game. As I read in the comments from the last video, some of you are already totally ready to do this and just want the how-to right now. I get that. I'm an impatient person. I always want to get to the core of the issue as soon as possible. We're going to get there. This is very important beforehand. In my work with my clients here in Seattle, I found by trial and error that you can teach the techniques all day long to someone. But if they have underlying blocks or hindering beliefs, it'll do no good. It only creates confusion, frustration, and eventually lack of confidence. And we all know that golf is a game of confidence, don't we? Isn't there a book called that? All of that difficulty was definitely me until I figured out what I'm about to teach you here. Remember me mentioning the static and the interference in that first video? We've got to clear that mental static. We've got to get it out of here. Now here's an example of that in an old belief that golfers have that's got to be cleared in order to move you forward. And here it is. That you have to continually work on or tweak your swing or your putting stroke in order to achieve some sort of magical, perfect mechanical swing, and that's the way to lower your score. This idea is factually false. Let it go right now. It's hurting you. Now listen, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with working on your swing and taking lessons to improve it. And, having said that, I'm using the same swing I learned in my first set of lessons 20 plus years ago. The exact same swing that used to have me scoring in the 90s now gets me in the 70s. I just recently played 9 holes with my son in wet, rainy weather, all bundled up, and I shot a 3-over, not having practiced all winter. This stuff works. Here's the new belief you can replace that old one with. I can work on my swing with an instructor I believe in, and right now I'm focusing on being consistent with the swing I have. If your consistent, perfect golfer has the program that it's flawed and that the way it swings or strokes the putt is wrong, then it's not going to respond as that perfect, consistent golfer for you that you want. It's going to be on this never-ending search for perfection that has it randomly dialing all the swings in its repertoire. It'll never stay on any swing, and you'll never be consistent. Golfers with that belief, they are programmed for inconsistency. I know that some beliefs are very difficult to change at that unconscious level. Fortunately, this one is very easy, and it really unlocks your potential. For now, just buy into the fact that your swing is good enough today to hit your goal, and the connection to your consistent golfer will be dramatically improved. All right? Your swing is good enough. By the way, this works at the highest levels of golf. Do you know the story about Bruce Litsky? Litsky won 12 times on the PGA Tour, 7 times on the Champions Tour, all without practicing. I'm going to let Litsky tell you himself what I've been trying to say so far in these videos. Here's some quotes by him from an article in the St. Petersburg Times, and this was right before a Champions Tour event in 2002. Quote, "I still have only one golf swing that I take out on the golf course. There's nothing for me to go on the practice tee to work on. I've got one swing that has stayed exactly the same for 27 years. My swing doesn't get any better if I were to go home for 2 weeks and hit balls. It stays the same whether I hit balls or whether I take 2 weeks off. I don't work on my swing. I don't change my swing. About the only thing that can happen to me out on the practice tee is that I can get into bad habits." Now here's some commentary on Bruce by another golf legend, Ben Crenshaw, who said about Lieske, quote, "Here's the reason it works, I think. Bruce Lieske has some of the best rhythm I've ever seen. It never changes. Even on a windy day, he doesn't try to knock the ball down. He just grabs 2 more clubs and hits it the same." Another quote by Bruce, "I look to shoot low scores, and I really believe the way to shoot low scores is to play one swing all day, all week, and all year," he said. He also said, "It's human nature to want to be better. I don't want to be better. I want to be exactly like I was yesterday." Now, this is different thinking, and it works for everyone. The beauty of it is that you don't have to change anything that you're already doing to improve your game. Huge gains in golf score improvement. Now, I'm telling you, go ahead and keep your swing method or your instructor. I want you to do the drills he wants you to do to fine-tune the different parts of your game. Yes! Yes! And by the way, guess what? There's all kinds of drills that you can do at home, on your carpet, in front of a mirror, in your backyard, that'll be so much more effective at lowering your golf score than mindless putting with 3 balls in a row or raking and scraping at the range. All right, now, for today's unconscious golfing tip, it's a putting strategy. When golfers get out on the course and experience the yips or, anytime they're feeling tension and anxiety, like when you have to make this putt, here's the drill that you can do at home in order to completely eliminate that. You get up for your putt, and right before you're ready to take your stroke, what I want you to do is pick an odd number, somewhere between 1 and maybe 100, right? Let's say 59. And then what you do is you count backwards in odd numbers while taking your putting stroke. Okay? You've already lined it up. You've already got your direction of travel, right? It's about getting the feel of letting go. Occupying your conscious mind is one way to do it. Watch how I do this in this video. Doing this simple drill before a round will help you so much more than trying to fix your stroke, and it teaches you unconscious golf. Now, I understand that you probably don't have the talent of Bruce Lieske. I get that. But you certainly can develop that same rhythm that Crenshaw talked about to get something what Lieske is powerfully tapped into, can't you? Rhythm, consistency, heartbeat. This is what we're talking about. So is rhythm the secret? Well, it's only part of it, and not even what we want to focus on. In fact, it just looks like rhythm from a bystander's point of view. In Lietske's own words, he rarely talks about rhythm. I've read a lot about him. The real secret here is one word: trust. That's what we're talking about. Lieske had unbelievable trust in his swing. He believes in it. Didn't you get that from all those quotes? When you have trust in your own perfect, consistent golfer self, then you're really starting to make the connection, and it will respond for you. Why? Because it's just a robot. It's like your operating system. It doesn't think for itself or make any judgments. You get to do all of that. You are the captain of your ship, and your perfect, consistent golfer is like your crew. What we're doing here is learning how to combine your smarts, intelligence, your course, and your game knowledge with this other perfect self and creating a partnership through this connection. It's amazing. You know, most of us are just so disconnected from that inner part of ourselves, and this is what actually causes us all the pain in our life and all the screw-ups in golf. There's no magic here, folks. Everyone can do this. It's easy and it's effective. Now, here's how this works in real life out there on the course. All right? It's your turn. You do your pre-shot routine. You stay in self-1 the whole time, like Galway talks about. Now, included in that pre-shot routine is a thought or a directive telling your perfect golfer self where to send the ball. And maybe a message about trusting it to do the work. You have a final word or a trigger to turn the swing over to the consistent golfer, and then you let it go. And you're doing everything intentionally in this pre-shot routine. You're crowding your thinking mind with things to do the whole time and not letting any of those old doubts come in. After the swing, if you hit it great or make the putt, you assume that you made a great connection to perfect, consistent golfer, and you congratulate yourself. And you say, I'm doing more of that. If it's not such a great shot or putt, you take a look at yourself, you ask yourself how well you did in that connection to your perfect golfer, and figure out how you will improve it the next time. You ask yourself, who is in charge of that swing? Me or my consistent golfer? Did I try to guide, control, steer the swing, or did I let go and trust? And then go to that trust the next shot. You see, the one thing that was missing in Litsky's story, and it's just assumed in golf here, is that you have to focus on a target. Every golfer instructor on the planet will tell you to focus on specific targets, and so do I. But that's just a part of the formula. Here's the complete formula for how to play golf unconsciously. Are you ready? Write this down. Get ready to write it down and memorize it. Drum roll, please. Target plus connection plus direction plus trust equals unconscious golf results. Now, I'm not going to talk much about target because it's covered very well in just about every golf instruction out there. You know, other than to say, always pick specific targets to aim for. Really simple. You got it. So after that bad shot, you have to ask yourself, did I zero in on the target, put all my mind power on sending the ball there, or did I let my mind wander? How is my trust factor in letting my consistent golfer play that shot or read the green? You know, by the way, would a captain of a warship let his mind wander in the midst of a battle? What would the crew do in such a situation? Each member of the crew would just do his or own little job by himself and not be coordinated with the other members of the crew. They would do what they've been trained. No direction equals no outcome. This leads us into dealing with the next skill that is required to make all this happen without practice, and that is focus. Focus is what keeps you on that formula I just mentioned. Now, I'm convinced that this is the core of most golfers' problems. And I don't care if you're a ranked beginner or you're an advanced player. Beginners can benefit even more from all this because their minds are so full of trying to control the swing from their latest instructions, right? If they were to focus more on the formula I talked about, they would develop a feel for the game. And they would swing much smoother, easier. They would learn a fluid, powerful swing much quicker, and they would integrate from their instructor much more efficiently into the body automatically. Now, the normal way for that to happen is just by playing and practicing, for sure. Don't you want to speed that process up? I sure did when I was a beginner. Every golfer knows that the better you focus, the better you play, right? And going to the range or the practice green does not improve most golfers' focus, and it's not designed to. On the range or the practice green, that's the time to work on improving mechanics. You're thinking about what you're doing drills, you're adjusting to feedback, all good stuff. But it's not improving your focus very much. The best way to improve focus is to dedicate a practice round to improving focus. Once again, easier said than done, right? But here's how you do it. During a round, you've got so many things going on, including, having a good time and talking with your playing partners. Well, here's how to do it. See, I'm a big believer in what is called compartmentalization out there on the course. What this means is that when it's your turn, you go into a sort of a trance of focus for that 1 minute during your pre-shot routine and through until the ball stops or even later. You don't have to focus for 4 hours. No, just that 1 minute. You know how we like to keep track of how many greens of regulation we hit and how many putts we have in addition to our regular score, right? Well, you want to do the same thing and give yourself a focus score after every hole for how you think you focused on that hole for that 1 minute during your pre-shot routine. Make this intentional as part of your improvement plan. Focus on focus. Work on that with my formula specifically during every round, and I promise you that you'll lower your scores much faster than mindlessly raking and scraping balls in the range and hitting multiple balls from the same spot. It's totally pointless. All right, I promise you that I give you a focus technique that you can do in your easy chair last time, right? So I teach this to athletes in my office. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Whenever you have a couple minutes to yourself, go grab a book. Open to a page with only words and no pictures, okay? Start at the bottom. Count words backwards without reading the words or trying to make sense of the sentences or the words. Focus on just the task of counting the words and see how well you direct your mind completely to that task. Start out doing this for 20 seconds at a time. Time yourself. Slowly graduate up to 1, 2, or 3 minutes maybe. That's the most you'll ever need. And if you ever get to that point, congratulations. You are good to go. You will have developed amazing focus that you'll be able to use out on the course. You'll have developed the neural networks and the brain cells that will be activated when you need it during your pre-shot routine out on the course, which gives your consistent golfer its best opportunity to play the shot. Woo! Do not underestimate how effective this little exercise will be in lowering your score. It works. If you do this, like I said, your brain will be changing the way it functions, and it'll be contextual. Whenever you want to do it on the golf course, if you practice it, you'll light up those same neurons. It transfers directly over to everything in life, but of course, you're doing it for your golf game, so that's where it'll show up even more powerfully. And there's still even easier ways to improve your focus and gain robotic consistency. Stay tuned for that, because in the next video, we're going to go into the third part of the formula to playing unconscious, consistent golf, and that is direction. You're also going to learn how to do visualization your way on steroids, figuratively speaking. And this next video is going to be a game changer for you, maybe a life changer. I'll see you on that next video. I'm Craig Sigel, the No Practice Expert. Your range and fairways.